Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's 2020 Census and Redistricting meeting for Mann Elementary School. My name is Dr. Chris Downing, and I am the proud superintendent of the Anaheim Elementary School District. Before we begin today's meeting, we have a message regarding translation.
Buenos días. Para interpretación en español, por favor llamar al siguiente número: 321-465-5058 con el PIN 590-186-825, signo numeral.
All right. Good morning again, everyone. So the goal of today's meeting is to provide for you information regarding the Anaheim Elementary School District's efforts to redistrict based on the 2020 census. One of the things that you will notice is that in today's meeting, our district will provide you with scenarios, but we will not provide any recommendations. Instead, we are counting on you, our families and community, to help provide feedback to our board members who are responsible for making the final decision. Joining us this morning are Dr. Yadira Moreno, Director of School, Family, and Community Engagement for Anaheim Elementary School District, and Angela Banuelos, Senior Associate Director of Cooperative Strategies. Ms. Banuelos is going to lead today's presentation, and at the end, we will provide information on how your feedback can be heard. I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Banuelos at this time.
Thank you. So good morning, and thank you for joining us today. So during this presentation, we're going to go over the comparison of the 2010 census data and the 2020 census data, and we'll be going over 3 conceptual scenarios for your consideration. So changes within the last 10 years. So the district's population grew by 3.1%. That was a total of 6,051 inhabitants. Currently, the district has a population of 202,659. And most notable changes occurred within trustee area 2 with a decrease of 4.2%, trustee area 4 with an increase of 12.7%, and trustee area 5 with a negative 5.4%. So what does that mean, and why are we here today? So the overall change in the last 10 years is 3.1%. So what does that look like in terms of the total population? So here we have the total population split up by demographics. So we utilize the total population to help us determine how to evenly or nearly equally split those populations amongst each trustee area. In this case, it's 5 trustee members. So again, the total population is 202,659, and the largest protected class voters are the Hispanic Latino community, followed by the second largest being the Asian community at 16.7%. Here we provided a color graduated map, also known as CVAP, for the citizen voting age population estimate. So this is actually who is eligible to vote, not just registered voters, but anyone who's a citizen and can vote in any election. So we see again that the Hispanic Latino community is at 48.2%, followed by the second largest protected class voters, which is the Asian community at 18%. So what we utilize this CVAP data, also known as citizen voting age population totals, is to help us identify where these communities of interest live and to help us not split them up or impair their ability to elect a candidate of their choice. So here on the color graduated map, you can see that the darker the area, the more dense it is, and the lighter the area, the least dense, meaning less people live there. So overall, the total eligible voters within the school district boundaries, it's 106,953. Significant change from the total population to who's eligible to vote. Here we have a picture of an image of the current trustee areas. So trustee area 1 is the yellow, trustee area 2 is the green, trustee area 4 is the pink, trustee area 3 is the pink, trustee area 4 is the blue, and trustee area 5 is the purple. I'll take a brief pause there.
Okay. I would just like to share with our families in the community who the board members are that represent each of the areas. So for trustee area 1, we have Ms. Jackie Philbin. For trustee area 2, we have our board president, Juan Gabriel Alvarez. For trustee area 3, we have Dr. Jose Paulo Macallis. Trustee area 4 is represented by Mr. Mark Lopez, and trustee area 5 is represented by Mr. Ryan Ruiz. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we're going to jump over and see what those demographics are per area. So again, the 2020 census total population is 202,669 inhabitants, meaning that's how many people live within the district boundaries. So we take that number and we divide it by 5 to give us the ideal trustee area size. In this case, it's 40,532. You can see that on the bar in the top of the presentation. And currently, the total variance of the district's current trustee area boundaries is 18%, meaning that the allowable variance is 10%, so meaning that the district is over 8% in variance. So the variance is calculated by taking the most populated area and subtracting it from the least populated area, and then you divide that by the ideal trustee area size to give us the variance. So because the district is above the 10% variance by 8%, they would need to redistrict their current boundaries. And also, as stated before, trustee area 1 has a population variance of 0.0%. Trustee area 2 has a variance of negative 4.2%. Trustee area 3 has a negative 3.1%. Trustee area 4, which has the most growth, has a variance of 12.7%, and trustee area 5 has a variance of negative 4.4%. So that lets us know how and where we need to make those changes in the areas. So here are some considerations in what we utilize to make those boundary adjustments. So first is each area shall contain a nearly equal amount of inhabitants. So we go back to the total population and dividing that by 5. That gives us the ideal trustee area size. So we have some 10% variance to play with and see how we can distribute that almost equally. We also have to comply with the Federal Voting Rights Act. So that means no cracking, no packing, or gerrymandering. And we have to keep the areas compact and contiguous. They have to just look like a natural geographic feature. We respect communities of interest as much as possible. Follow man-made natural geographic features such as like railroads, main streets, highways, so we use those as natural dividers. We also try to respect incumbency because the will that people have spoken, you have elected your current board members, and we try to keep that into consideration, although it's not the predominant factor in this process. And other local considerations that may arise during this process. So here we have conceptual scenario 1. Throughout each scenario, we would keep the same color scheme. So trustee area 1 is going to remain yellow. Trustee area 2 is green. Trustee area 3 is the pink or coral color. Trustee area 4 is the blue. And trustee area 5 is the purple. So here we can see where we made that change. So each scenario is going to have an overlay of a purple line on the map. The purple line distinguishes what the current trustee area is to help identify where we made those changes. So here we can see where the border is between the blue and the purple, which is trustee area 4 and 5. Those changes occurred. And let's see what were the considerations. So scenario 1 was drawn in consideration of minor boundary adjustments by decreasing area 4 and expanding area 5 to bring the district back into compliance. A noteworthy detail is that in areas 1, 4, and 5, which are based on total population and CVAP data, there are 3 majority Hispanic Latino areas and 5 plurality areas for Hispanic Latino communities. This scenario has a variance, one of the largest variants at 7.9%. So we'll go over and talk about what that means. So we went ahead and circled where those areas are. So on trustee area 1, the CVAP, meaning the eligible voters, have to be above 50% in order to classify them as a protected class. So here we circled trustee area 1, where we have the Hispanic Latino community at 53.5%. Trustee area 4 has 52.9%, and trustee area 5 has 52.7%, meaning that those areas are above 50%, meaning that they're protected majority areas. Here we have option 2, or scenario 2. Again, here in this particular area, occurred between the boundaries of the yellow, trustee area 1, trustee area 4, the blue, and trustee area 5, the purple. So very minor changes. So scenario 2 is also drawn in consideration of minor boundary adjustments to bring the district back into compliance. In this scenario, Jefferson Elementary School moved into area 1, and Mann Elementary moved into area 2 from area 1. Additionally, a noteworthy detail is that this one creates 4 protected majority areas. So in area 1, 2, 4, and 5, based on total population and CVAP data, those areas are protected majority areas. And there are 5 plural areas for the Hispanic Latino community. This scenario has one of the lowest variance at 6.3%. So here we have also the data table that shows you on area 1, where we circled it, the Hispanic Latino community is above 54.1%. Trustee area 2 is 50%. Trustee area 4 is 50.5%. And trustee area 5 is 53.5%. Here we have option 3. Same area made the changes in trustee area 1, the yellow, trustee area 4, the blue, and trustee area 5, the purple. Again, this one was drawn with minor boundary adjustments by decreasing area 4 and expanding area 5 to bring the district back into compliance. Jefferson Elementary moved from area 4, the blue, to area 1, the yellow. And Roosevelt moved from area 4, the blue, into area 5, the purple. So a noteworthy detail is that this one creates 3 protected majority areas for area 1, 4, and 5. And it has 5 plural Hispanic areas. This scenario has a variance of 7.7%, again, well below the 10% allowable threshold. We circled trustee area 1 for the Hispanic Latino community at 53.9%. We circled area 4 at 51.6%, and we circled area 5 at 53.3%. And I will be taking a brief pause and for a brief message.
Thank you for that presentation. At each and every school, we have drop boxes available for your feedback or suggestion on the scenarios. Each card is labeled with scenario 1, 2, or 3 that you could fill out and place in the drop box. We also have the maps available that are labeled with the 3 different scenarios that you were just presented. Scenario 3, scenario 2, and scenario 1. Each office has this right when you walk in, and you are always welcome to come in person and leave your suggestions on the scenario, or we also are emailing the survey feedback form for you to give us your opinion virtually also. So whatever you're comfortable with, again, the goal here is for you to understand that there's 3 scenarios, and we are taking your input and feedback to the school board. Our goal is that you understand the purpose of this, but regardless what scenario it is, our 5 trustees are still representing each and every Anaheim Elementary student. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Oh, I just want to confirm that we do not have any questions virtually. When I stepped back in here, we did. Okay. Thank you for joining us virtually this morning.
Thank you very much, and we'd just like to thank Principal Magdalena for his efforts in coordinating today's meeting. And again, we will repeat this workshop or this community forum at 1 o'clock today. So please join us, and thank you for your time.